Hey everyone, Kareem Rae here, and today I have Andre Deas on with us. Andre, how's it going?
Everything been good, bro. Just in the off season back in Atlanta, enjoying the time off and getting ready for the next opportunities waiting for me in 2022.
For sure. And
Yes,
I
sir.
want to I want to thank you for joining us today.
No problem. I thank you for having me. This is my first interview, actually.
For sure.
Yeah.
So, can you please introduce yourself to the viewers?
So, like you said, I'm Andre Deas. I'm a forward winger or left wing back that's out of Atlanta, Georgia. Been playing soccer since I was 3. I came up through the youth recreational system in Atlanta and then blossomed into playing the higher level of soccer throughout my years.
Awesome. So, can you take us back in time? Like who introduced you to soccer or football? Who introduced you to the sport?
So that's gonna be my dad. My dad, he actually played soccer when he was back in the day, and so he put me in the sport at 3 years old. My dad and my mom, and since then I played with him when I was from probably 3 to 13, and so then I transitioned to going to a different team, a higher level, and after that I wound up playing with this youth club, Concord Fire, out of Atlanta, Georgia, and everything went well. I've been training hard, working hard.
For sure. I mean, are you the first person in your family to go pro, or?
Yeah. Everything. I was the first one. But I try and be a leader for all the people in my community. I grew up playing with probably 300 inner city kids, and I was one of the only ones that made it out. So my goal right now is to try and get more people involved, more information out there, and lead them in the right direction.
100%. That's what we're doing here right now through One Soccer Nation. So it's amazing to have you here
Yes,
with
sir.
us. I mean, and once you go pro, you become part of the 1% because there's there's 200 to 300 million people that play soccer for fun. But
Definitely.
realistically, the numbers are like 200 to 400,000 or around there that play professionally that have actually done it. And you're part of that. You're part of the 1%. So that's amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
And I had the pleasure to play against you what was the team that you were playing with?
Southern States Soccer Academy. So that was the MPSL team that I've been playing for this past season. It was a startup team. It was actually a good system to be in. I mean, they provided a world-class facility, nice grass fields, proper coaching, and I just used that time to build my confidence as a player and also to get my game minutes coming off that 2020 season during COVID.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the facility was beautiful, and the system that they had over there was nice. I mean, yeah, you. I have to say, I've told you when I played against you, you're a quality player, quick on the ball, pace, dribble. You actually scored on us, and then yeah, it was a good game. You guys won.
That was a crazy game. We wound up getting the red card. It was a wild game. Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah.
So, how did it feel to be the first person in your family to to sign pro and to start that journey for your family? How did that all feel?
When it first happened, I was had tears of joy because it was something I've been wanting to chase since I was 10. But I don't really try and get too caught up in, I'm the 1%, but how can I continue to be that 1% over a period of time? So with anything in life, it's all about longevity. Like you want to be there as long as you can and build on that.
100%, 100%. Those are good points. And for the viewers that that have never been to Atlanta, can you share with us what Atlanta's like? How does it?
It's a nice city. It just depends on what you want to do. You got historical things that happen in the city. Then you have the party atmosphere, but then you also have the sports and music industry. So it's a mixed bag of everything. Very nice city to be in. But we don't need no more people moving here right now.
It's too crowded.
Yeah, traffic getting like LA. That's where I went out to school. So.
For sure. So
I didn't really get to enjoy my adult years in Atlanta like that. I went to University of Central Florida during my first year of college, and then I wound up transferring out to Cal State Northridge in the Valley and close to the midst of LA. So I didn't really get to experience Atlanta like that, but we'll see how it goes over the course of the years.
Understood. So we're gonna go to that, but before we go, the school route.
Hmm.
What passports? Where do you originate from, and what passports do you hold?
Um, African American. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. Only passport I have is the United States passport.
Right, and you've only played professionally in the states, right?
Oh yes, sir. Yes, sir. Did my 10th grade year? I went over to Sporting Lisbon for a stint period just to go over there, train with their academy, and I got to see the different perspectives of how soccer is played over there and how it is over here. And at that age, you didn't really understand the dynamics of what's going on. But as I've been playing, I started to see, okay, this what the game brings to you.
For sure. So why do you play soccer?
I think it was just it's a passion, like something that just it keeps you pushing. When on your bad days, it makes you happy. On your good days, it makes you happy. And I've been doing this since I was 3, so it's become like another life. Once I get on the soccer field, I could forget about everything and just play. And I want to do like I said, I want to bring something to the game that hasn't been seen. Like obviously for me and you being African Americans, it's not really too much of us within the sport, uh, playing the sport that are just strictly African American. Obviously, you have Africans, Europeans, everybody, but I just want to bring a voice to the game and try and build the community, like you say for Atlanta, in instance, bring the community together and give all the resources, knowledge, like I was saying earlier.
So do you think after your career you would start, your own academy or professional team? Is that something of interest?
Uh, I mean, I like start. I mean, so the youth. Like starting with the youth. The youth is the future of everything. So, I mean, I would go on training route, coaching, not like coaching the team, but life coaching. But eventually, I would want to get into coaching and having my own team.
Understood. Yeah, that would be huge. I mean, we need that, right? We need that in the community and
Yeah,
black
definitely.
people. Sure. So, what teams have you played for, professional? Well, actually, before you went pro, what teams did you play for, and then the pro teams that you played
So youth academy too. So like I said, I played. So I started off at South DeKalb YMCA. That's always gonna be the place that holds a dear, truly place to my heart. Like I said, that was the club that my dad started, and even to this day, those 300 people are still in my life and supporting me throughout my time playing soccer. After that, I wound up playing with a team called Decatur DeKalb Y. So they were the other YMCA down the street. And then I wound up going to Concord Fire out in Atlanta and playing Classic One, Region Three, and then National League and Developmental Academy. And then I wound up going to college from there.
right? So basically, you started at youth, and then you went to after youth, you went to college. You said.
I went, yeah, yeah. So I went from rec to higher level. So we call it academy over here. So I went from rec to academy and then to college.
Okay, so those are the three steps. So rep, academy, college,
Mhm.
and then when you were in the academy stage, how did you figure out that you wanted to go to college? You wanted to go the college route. How did you figure that out?
So that was a big credit to not, or it was a big credit to my parents, but also my coach that was coaching me at that time, or both of the coaches that coached me at the time. They were big on sending a lot of us to college. We'll have a meeting right before our seasons and always write down which colleges that we wanted to go to, and then talk about what GPAs are needed to be there, what's their email, what's their numbers. And then once they gave me a little platform, me and my parents just started every day, okay, let me go and email this coach. Let me send him my transcript. Let me send him or make a call to his office and just try and get in contact with him and introduce myself to him.
So how many schools? I mean, first of all, that's huge to have that support from the parents. That's amazing, and then to execute that, that's great. How many? Put a number out there that how many schools did you reach out to before you got a reply back?
Uh, I mean, I think it was pretty quick because my coach had connections to a lot of school. I probably sent out, I think, when I first started, I sent out a load of emails, probably like 20, 30. Gave it some time, and then I was checking it every day, like, damn, I'm ready. Because sometimes once you sign up or find the school's emails, they start to send you emails sometimes, but it doesn't be about their like interaction with you. It's more like, oh, you should come to this summer camp, an automated email. So that's where people, I want to say, like, don't get confused in that. Like, if they're sending, you gotta read in depth of what the email is. It may not be them recruiting you, but they want you to come to a soccer camp. So you just gotta see both sides of it. But I think probably, like I said, the first day I sent 20 emails and just let it over time. Tell my coach, or you gotta perform too. That's the biggest thing. If you're not performing, it doesn't matter. And so I would get opportunities where these coaches are coming to the games. So we would play Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Florida, and so you have all these coaches within that area, and they would come out to games when we were traveling. You got to perform and show yourself.
Right. So performing is, one key aspect, and then you have your player resume or CV.
Exactly.
What else you got? Then you got to make sure as you mentioned, the right GPA for that
Yeah,
school.
exactly. So grades, and then you can't be getting in trouble and stuff like that. So
Right.
those are, I think, the three biggest things.
Right. So that's the criteria right there, and then for sure you obviously fitted that criteria, and then.
Mhm.
How many clubs reached? I mean, clubs. How many colleges reached back out to you? And then, how did you go about making the decision of saying, "All right, this is the one that I want to go with"?
So I think probably I would say 15 schools, but at that time you could only go on 5 visits. So I wound up, my first visit was University of Central Florida. And well, actually, we'll take it back. So I did with the relationship with my dad's soccer club, we wound up taking he wound up taking a lot of us to Furman. So Furman was one of the first schools. Clemson was another school that I wanted to go to. UNC and UCF, and then it wound up being another school out in California that I wanted to go to. So I was getting a little interest from a few of those schools. And once I started going on visits and seeing these different places, USF was another place that I was in love with. But I think once I got to UCF, I was pretty certified after my visit. And it went on from there.
For sure. What made you feel that way? What experiences
I
did you?
think so. I was youth, so during my time playing in youth soccer and transitioning into college, so that would be my 10th, 11th, 12th grade year. I would be missing out on the friendships and the going out, stuff like that, just living like a regular teen. But when I got to UCF, it was just I was so confined. Before that, I was confined within a small space. But when I got to UCF, it was the biggest school in the nation, 65,000 people. So it was just the weather was always good. The field was perfect. The players were cool. Coaching staff was pretty cool. I mean, I liked the coaching staff a lot because when they were recruiting me, it was more on a personal level. It wasn't just about business. Like, they were actually trying to get to know me personally. So I thought it was the best place for me to be at that time.
So, from my understanding, having that personal relationship, creating that relationship, and getting to know one another is important.
Yeah. I
Would
mean, you got to sign a letter to go to the school for a year or 4 years, So that all plays into a picture. You don't want to be there and then you bumping heads with the coach every uh day or every week, or you don't want to be there and then you get homesick from your family, stuff like that.
Right. So it sounded like you made the right decision to go to the school, and then, how long did you go to school for, and what did you study?
My freshman year, I only went there. Yeah, I went to UCF 1 year. Stuff went down. I was 17 in college. It was a big school, like I say. So when you see that big of a school, you tend to do stuff that you gain freedom. So I wound up transferring, going to a different school, and I wound up going out to Cal State Northridge.
Got it. And then what would you study while you were in college?
So my first year at UCF, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I just wanted to play soccer and live. But once I got to California, I wound up going into communications.
Communications, and then from college, how'd you go pro?
So I wound up. So after UCF, I transferred to Cal State Northridge. So I'm moving from Atlanta. Well, I was born, raised in Atlanta. Then I went to school out in Florida, and then I wound up coming back to Atlanta. And I had 6 weeks to figure out a school. And so I'm trying to talk to all the coaches, trying to figure out where I'm finna go. Uh, and I wound up going out to California. So I moved all the way across the country. And to this day, I think it was probably one of the best moves I ever made. Just going out, trying to figure myself out. Like I said, I didn't like how everything went down my first year in college. It was a lot that I didn't know, and it was a lot that you gotta adjust. Like when you in life, you always gotta adjust to different environments and maneuver different. So I wound up going out to California. First year, I played a substantial amount of minutes. Uh, and then my second year there, so that would have been my junior year. The first game, preseason game of the season, he tells me, we are going to decide to redshirt you. So that really kind of changed the trajectory of things.
Why?
I was hurt mentally. That was because nobody in their junior year, I wasn't injured. My grades were good. I had just came off a honor roll. I was performing at a high level. I felt good, and so that hurt my pride a little bit, and I just used that as fuel to the fire, and that's what really I think that year changed my whole mentality. I wasn't really worried about having friends, or I was just focused on the goal. I got to graduate, and I want to go play soccer. Like, this is the passion. So I was in the gym every day. I was working out. I was getting my body work with, doing extra stuff all the time, and just perfecting my craft. It was days that was tough, real hard, to where I'm by myself. I'm confined to just me, all my family on the other side of the country, and so the June or that red shirt year ended, and I had 2 years left. So I think that would have been my red shirt senior year. That season played decent amount of minutes, not much, 200 minutes, and so I wound up being able to get my graduate degree or my master's. So I started in recreation tourism and management. So I'm still on the path of finishing that. And that my last season there was absolutely like, it wasn't something I would have imagined for my senior year. You want to end it out with a bang. I wasn't getting minutes, but I remember a lot of my teammates, like, they were real close to me, and my parents, everybody, they like, just enjoy it. This your last time that you gonna be in school and all that. So going on to the pro process. My boy, so I played PDL, so that's like the USL 2 for everybody that doesn't know it. That was my summer team, Ventura Fusion. So they hosted a combine. So these combines always happen around this time of the year once the off season hits. And I wasn't too I wasn't too pressed about going. I was already starting the process of emailing people, talking to people, trying to figure out what's the next move. And shout out to my friend Jordan Kenoshi. He was a big part of everything that happened. I wasn't really too excited about going to the combine. He was like, bro, just go. Like, you got to invest in yourself to make this happen. And I was like, yeah, bro, you right. And so I wound up going. and I think it was a two day combine, and you played maybe like 4 games. And I can remember praying with Jordan and another teammate, Lauren. I was just like, Lord, just let us go out here and take advantage of this opportunity. And so happened at the end of the week, I was one of the players that they wanted to sign at Hartford Athletic.
That's huge. That is,
Yeah, yeah, bro.
uh, I just want to lay it out again. So it was Reb, Academy, college, and
Hmm.
then an opportunity through your friend Jordan came about, a combine, and then boom.
Yeah.
So it was a 2-day combine, 4 games, as you say. From my uh, understanding is that you killed, and then that's how you signed pro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's huge. All right, let's dive into that. So, what position did you play? When you were.
At the combine or growing up, I always was maybe like a 10 or a forward. But in college, I started, even at UCF, I was pushed around a lot of places because I'm a player that could play multiple positions. So at the combine, I wound up playing as a wing back because that's how they wanted us to play at that time. And so I went to play wing back, and it just felt natural. It didn't feel nothing different. Uh, but I would say my preferred position is a winger.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, do you have any tips for that position, like how to train for that position?
I mean, yeah, it's a lot of stuff. I mean, you gotta always work on technique. I think technique is the biggest thing, in knowing IQ and technique are the biggest things. Knowing what you want to do before you do it, knowing your surroundings, playing in small spaces. So, I mean, it's same stuff. I mean, it's like a soccer world stuff. You just do regular stuff, technique, finishing, crossing, working on it day to day, and making it a consistent matter to where it's not only muscle memory, but at night sometimes I do a visualization and feel like you can feel the ball, smell the grass, and you keep practicing these reps in your head to once you get to the game, it's all natural.
Very true, very true. And I like that you said you were able to play any position, but the question is, how are you able to be that adaptable on the field? How are you able to be able to play these different positions, right? Because each position has a different role, but for you to
Mhm.
be able to understand each role and be able to execute in each role, where does that come from? And you know,
I think I would probably just say IQ and watching the game. Like, so for instance, if I was to play a left back or left wing back, I look at it as like, okay, I'm a winger, so I would know. I just try and be ahead of the game. Like if I'm a left back and I know a winger coming in, I try and figure out before the first thing he does, I try and figure out his tendency. Okay, does he like coming inside? If he like coming inside, I'm gonna show him sideline. Is he right footed or is he left footed? If he's right footed, I don't want him to come inside because he'll get a shot on goal. And then uh, I think, yeah, it's just I would just say IQ of the game and being aware of your surroundings.
great points. So, we talked a little bit about what sacrifices you and your family made, but what sacrifices did your family make for you?
Uh, it goes on like it was a lot. Even with Concord, I had to travel 30, 40 minutes every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and maybe Sunday because we would play 2 games back to back. Uh, Trips to go to these tournaments, trips to go to a combine at when you were younger or like ODP. So stuff like that. I mean, that's why I truly like I put I don't put pressure on myself, but I want to give back to them what they gave to me.
Understood. Yeah, I understand. So I want to dive a little bit back. With the 2-day combine, the 4 games that you played and you killed it, and then how'd you find out? Did they call you? Did they send you an email that, hey, we want to send you to the club? How did that go about?
So at the end of the combine, the head of my PDF, my summer league team, the owner of it, he came up to me and he said, uh, I'm gonna give you this number. They want to call you. He told me who it was. It was the technical advisor of Hartford Athletic, and so uh, I called the advisor right after my owner told me, and then he basically said like, "Yeah, we like the way you perform. We interested in signing you. Uh, Send me over your email, and then look over the contract and everything, and then get back to me within a week or two."
And then,
So,
so
huh?
from there, you signed the contract, and then what happened?
Yeah. So I talked over with my family, everything, signed the papers, everything was good. And as soon as I signed, I got a call from the head coach probably a few weeks or a few days after I signed and solidified everything. And he was a big part of a lot of stuff. How I liked what I liked at Hartford. Like it sounded like a good situation. It sounded like I knew I was gonna get better by his demeanor and the way that he talked. And he was real serious about winning and changing the program, because at that time Hartford was a 1 year. They only had 1 year within the USL, and it wasn't up to par. But we came in and everything went well.
So, what's the name of the club again? Sorry,
Hartford Athletic. So it's based out in Connecticut.
Connecticut. And what league do they play in?
The USL Championship. So the league under the MLS.
Right. That's
Yeah,
right underneath.
yeah.
So, once you got in that position, you celebrated with your family. Um, you got into that position. What changed once you signed?
The grind. You had to start working. We had a strength coach. I think after everybody was all solidified, he got the strength coach called us, and we started setting up meetings. So it'd be day-to-day workouts where we, we already doing the workouts, getting prepared for what's going on, the fitness program. I think that was probably one of the biggest things on my mind. Like, dang, I got to be super fit. But I wasn't too worried about being on the ball, because that whole year I was already playing consistent ball, like with practices and doing other stuff on the side during college. Uh, and then the shift in mindset, like what you eat, how much sleep you get. It's a lot of stuff that played into it.
Right. And during your signing process, did you have an agent, or did you?
No, I didn't have an agent at all. So uh, I talked to the technical advisor, like I said, the contract came in and I signed it.
You didn't have any lawyer to go through any sports.
Oh, I had a my own personal family lawyer that we worked with, and we read over everything, and everything seemed fine.
From their side.
Yeah,
I mean, everyone's process is completely different. I've heard this before, but do you think having an agent is important, or?
yeah. I mean, you gotta have somebody just so that's. I mean, it just depends on what stage of the game you in. If you feel me, if you've been in the game for a long time and you know how to maneuver it yourself, then so be it. You could do it yourself. But if you just coming into the game and you're not knowing the ropes of how stuff go, uh, I feel like you would probably get off balance, because you're trying to have uh, an understanding on what you want, but then you got to play too, and you don't want to get views looked at while you playing with coaches and stuff like that. Uh, but I think an agent, advisor, mentor, I think that's all good, as long as they keep it upright and stay true to their policies.
100%. So, where has soccer led you now?
All over the world, it's I didn't probably seen a lot of the U.S. I want to start taking my chances to go across seas, but I went to Lisbon, like I said, Sporting Lisbon, Amsterdam, Germany, France. Uh, that was the main ones overseas, but like I said, I didn't been a lot of places in the U.S. But soccer done taught me all about life too. everything from adversity to different movements of the game to the mental. It's a lot. Even connections, diversity. I could keep going on.
right? And you've played for multiple professional teams, right, in America.
No, so 20 Hartford Athletic 2020 was my first year playing. That was my first professional season. After that, I wound up going to the NPSL. So the NPSL is an amateur league. So you can't count it professional because you got players that play in college. But it's a good league to you get your games and you get your confidence up, and you never know what's gonna happen. But I just felt that was the right opportunity for me to go at that time. That was coming off a COVID year, so the market was really messed up. Conversations were disarray, so I didn't want to be too stressed. I just said, okay, I know what I need to focus on. I didn't, and I know I wanted to grow as not only a player but as a person. So I just wanted to find somewhere where I could just sit down and be me, and also learn on the side. So
Understood.
yeah.
When you were playing in the USL Championship, what were the differences between when you were playing at college to then when you were playing at the USL Championship?
The intensity of everything. It wasn't no lollygagging around, and if you were coach, our coach made sure that you knew of it. Consistency is probably one of the biggest things. I mean, and obviously your attitude, but consistency. I mean, if you could show that you do this day in, day out, and show that you're on it, I mean, it's there for you. Players, physicality. I mean, it's just decision making too. That was one of the big things, decision making. Uh, Movement, the patterns. I learned a lot at Hartford. I learned a lot. Our coach came from the Premier League. He played in the Premier League, and then within not only him being our coach, our older players were uh, well known within the league and had good accomplishments. So I just really was a sponge and took not only asked questions from my coach, but asked questions from the older guys and just get different perspectives on different things.
Right, right, right. And those other perspectives helped you, have clarity in your own perspective. Correct.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. It helped out a lot because I mean, like you say, everybody got their own story, their own journey. Uh, So that was probably one. I mean, that's the main thing that was told. Like, you on your own journey. Like, you just gotta enjoy this stuff. Like, not like you say, only 1% do this.
Facts.
Yeah.
So, what are three tips that you can share with the viewers that want to go pro?
So I mean, obviously, you gotta be on the ball every day. I would say be on the ball every day. Not only on the ball, like physically, but watching the game, knowing different movement patterns, and taking it serious. I mean, it's like I say, it's gonna be tough times. It's gonna be hard times where you don't want to do nothing. But how I look at it, since my transition after Hartford, I look at it as, and that's a big credit to our coach. One of the things he told us was, "What are you doing to be the best player once you leave the practice field?" So it's not just a time period where, okay, practice from 5 to 7. So this is when I want to choose to be a pro. Those habits have to happen 24 hours. It's a 24-hour routine. And that's not just with soccer, but also with yourself. Like, so that's how I look at it right now. I want to always 1% better and on the field and 1% better physically, mentally, and self growth. I would say the second thing I would give a tip on is diversification. So this not just being a soccer player, but sense of you don't have just one set of skills. You got multiple, and that all multiple skills come out when you play. So for soccer, you could be okay, you're a left footer, but you could do with your right foot just as good as your left. Uh, And then three, I would say believe in yourself and obviously put yourself out there, or believe in yourself and invest in yourself. So that's one of the biggest things I didn't seen. And my growth was when I invested in myself. Obviously, that at Hartford, that's how I got to go pro. And even after that, during that COVID year, I was going through teams and I had to invest in myself and take these trips. Everything was going fine. It's just negotiations didn't line up. So investing in yourself and believing in yourself, because if you don't believe and always stay true to your core, you're gonna drive yourself crazy and always be bouncing back and forth on what you should do. So yeah, those are my three tips.
Those are great tips. Sorry, those are great tips. All right. So I have 13 fun questions. I don't know if you,
Yeah.
but did you want to add anything else or?
No, I mean, I would just tell kids, like I say, stay true to yourself. And if you ever need feedback, questions that you need to ask, I think that's one of the biggest things, because questions is because everybody, we don't all know everything. We don't know, like you said, the dynamics of the game. You don't know how it is to get there. So if anybody had questions, obviously you have this platform right here, which is great. And then I bounce on and add on to that. So if y'all need any questions, Andre_Deas24 at IG. And I think it's the same on Twitter. And if y'all need any questions, I'll be there to try and get back and answer to you.
Absolutely. So um, let's jump into the 13 fun questions.
Mhm.
This is going to be fun. So
Yeah, I'm ready.
Actually, I need to mention this because last time I did it, I didn't mention this. But like when I ask you, you just got to answer it fast, like whatever,
Okay.
right away.
Okay.
So, okay, so what's your favorite team?
Liverpool.
Favorite,
Soccer wise, right?
yeah.
Yeah, Liverpool.
Favorite player,
Messi.
favorite cleats,
Don't have one.
most memorable soccer moment.
As soon as I think I came back from Sporting Lisbon my 10th grade year. So we had I think it was the semifinals of state. I was playing high school soccer, but I came back just a different dude. Like the first goal was from half field. I dribbled like 6 people, and then the second goal, uh, I don't even know how it happened, bro. It was crazy moment, and we wound up winning that game.
Did you and you said it changed you, so I mean that's pretty cool. So did you ever play soccer in the house when you were a kid?
A lot. I got in trouble for it a lot. Broke a lot of things. Yeah.
Who's better, Messi or Ronaldo?
I don't debate that no more. It's kind of like the Kobe and LeBron. They two great athletes. Two spectacular athletes in two different realms. Where Messi, that's God given ability, and nobody but Ronaldo. And me being at Sporting Lisbon, I actually got to see how Ronaldo routine was from the different stories that the coaches told us and just the film that they had. So they both great athletes.
Adidas or Nike?
I don't have. I used to be a lot of Adidas, but I didn't. I wore Nike. It's not no big difference.
The first, what's the first team you would pick in FIFA? Like you're me and you.
Liverpool probably.
Me and you,
Liverpool.
Liverpool. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
What's your favorite fast food?
Fast food. Fast food. We'll have to go in California. In-N-Out.
In-N-Out.
In Atlanta, Waffle House.
Waffle House. Okay.
Yeah.
What's your favorite song right now?
I've been listening to a lot of old Lil Wayne, so right now it's Hustler Music by Lil Wayne.
Okay. 2 goals in a game or 1 goal and 1 assist?
1 goal, 1 assist. I like setting up my teammates. That come from my love of basketball too.
True. And would you rather score a free kick or a PK?
When is the free? Is it in the 90th minute? What's the situation? 90th minute.
It's
You
tied.
got. I have to put the pressure on myself and go with the PK because that's the only way you're gonna learn how to be great if you take those opportunities and those big moments.
True. And if you were a coach and you were able to sub in any player in history, who would it be?
Ronnie Daniel.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Ronnie Daniel. I miss his flair, what he brought to soccer. Like he just brought enjoyment. Like you could see he just had fun on the field. So yeah.
Do you think Neymar is a replicate of that better, or not as?
To a certain extent, and he the closest probably to what we seen to Ronnie Daniel.
But you don't think he's there at that level with Ronnie?
Oh no, I mean, we'll see. As time goes on, we'll see.
So Andre, again, I appreciate you taking the time to do this interview. Before we go, again, can you just mention where the viewers can find you?
Definitely on IG, Andre Andre_Deas Deas 24, and that's both on IG and Twitter.
Awesome. All right, Andre, thank you again for doing this.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you giving me this opportunity.
Thanks.